about almost 2 years ago now, I had a dream. I dreamt I had cancer. And one thing that I know from Catherine is when you have dreams like that, you heed them. So I went to a doctor, a naturopath, and who understood when I said I had a dream. I said I want to have a complete panel of blood tests. I just want to see how everything looks. And sure enough, my PSA, it has to do with a man's prostate, was 13 and a half. That was a score. It's supposed to be under 6. And so from that point, I went and did a bunch of MRIs and tests. And sure enough, I had spots that were cancerous on my prostate. Oh, I also had a biopsy to, to prove that. I had a PET scan to make sure it hadn't spread anywhere else, but I had prostate cancer. And so I talked to many people about what to do about it. Catherine and I researched all kinds of doctors and naturopaths and other people. And we decided on a course. But before I got started, which was about 6 months later, I started a Sunrider protocol. Now, we all know that Sunrider helps you maintain health. But oftentimes we don't talk about when you have an issue, how much Sunrider you need to take to build your immune system, especially when you're going to start some treatment. And the treatment I took was some pinpoint radiation called CyberKnife. And it was 5 treatments of pinpoint radiation. But I didn't couldn't schedule it for 6 more months. So for 6 months, I did an enormous amount of Sunrider, and I admit that it was a lot. And a lot of people won't do this, but it was recommended to me by somebody that's been in Sunrider for 30 years that I trusted. And, I was doing 7, 8, 9 New Plus a day, mixed with protein, not all New Plus, protein, VitaShake, New Plus, at least 8 or 9 a day. Um, I was doing 3 10-minute steeped callies per day. I was doing 3 scoops of quinary and 3 scoops of alpha 20C a day. All my other Sunrider, with things changing every 2 or 3 weeks after talking to this mentor about how I was. And so it was a lot. I did that for 6 full months. So I asked the doctor, the oncologist, if I could do another PSA test before the treatment started. My PSA was 8.5. Now, this is a medical doctor. And I said to him, God, what do you think? He knew I was doing what I call a complementary protocol. And he said, Oh, yeah, it's still high. You still got to do this treatment, which I knew he would say, right? So I did the treatment. Um, you don't get tested again for 6 months after. So 6 months after the treatment, my TSA was tested and I still had my prostate. Remember that. It wasn't taken out. And I continued that protocol for 6 more months after for recovery. So my PSA was 0.16. And when I called the doctor for the appointment, because it was a tele appointment, he kept using the word fantastic like 4 times. He said, "Weren't you on some sort of complimentary protocol?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And then, but he didn't want to hear about it, right? He said, "Okay." He said, "I see this procedure successful in hundreds and hundreds of men, but I rarely see their PSA even 5 years later get anywhere near 6, or maybe between 4 and 6, but never under 4. I've never seen any. He used the word fantastic again. He said, I've never seen anything like it. And so that's my story. And I didn't do anything other than Sunrider 6 months before, a lot of it, and Sunrider 6 months after, and this pinpoint radiation. That's my story. I'm sticking to it, and it worked.